Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Welcome to the Apex Racing League GT Am Trophy, live and exclusive on Apex Racing TV. This week sees us return to Europe after a 3-week hiatus as we head to the Hungaroring in Hungary. I'm Tim Cox, we have Dennis Branch in the production booth, but right now I'm joined by Andy Thompson. Last week, of course, we were in Japan for Suzuka and a different manufacturer was able to take the fight to BMW, with Porsche's Carriere taking the victory, and also a 3rd place for Porsche in the form of your teammate Tom Bingham. However, obviously Janovsky for BMW still managed to give them 2nd place on the podium. How do you think this was going to turn out tonight, Andy?
I think it's really going to favour the Porsches again, and maybe even the Ferraris and the Lambos, because this is a very tight, twisty corner. I'd expect the guys to be running quite a high wing setup on the track. There's some quite treacherous corners as we see on screen there. That's probably the one that is turn 6 and 7, the chicane after the very tight right turn 5, which normally sees a lot of incidents going on there. But I'm sort of favouring more towards the Porsche and the Ferraris, I think, for this one. Although, you know, with Matthew McBride, you know, we saw him out in Suzuka, had a bit of a malfunction and changed his tyres in the pit lane, but was running 2nd at the time that he went into that pit. And considering he didn't actually really know the track, he's really got to come to grips with this BMW, so I would expect him to be there or thereabouts at the front challenging for that win for here tonight. But certainly I think the Porsche and the Ferraris are my favourites tonight.
Right, you say about the Porsche and the Ferrari, obviously we know that the BMW is so strong across the curbs, of which with so many corners here at the Hungaroring, we're not exactly sure on them. Do you think it's worth not discrediting them, maybe, and just, like you say, with so many strong drivers like McBride in the BMW, do you think maybe that we could see potentially a chance for one of them? And of course, then we've got the Lamborghini as well, and there's a couple of Audis in the field. So do you think maybe they might stand a chance, or do you think it's purely just going to be Ferrari and Porsche we're going to see dominate here today?
I mean, overall, everyone's got a chance. It's all down to the car setup, how the guys are faring with their own car setups, and how balanced they feel around the track. So, any manufacturer has really got a good chance, but we all know that the Porsche is very good at tight cornering and obviously getting on that acceleration early. Although, like you mentioned, the BMW is a lot better over the curbs, and there are some corners here, certainly that turn 6 and 7, that chicane, where you can actually go in there, as we watch Kindness in the background there doing a spin, trying to get onto his hot lap. So that'll be another lap that he has to go around there to put in a time in. But yeah, you got to look at some of the corners on this track. You've got that turn 4, which is that treacherous uphill left-hander. So the car's got to be really planted through that corner, because it's so easy to get an off track on the right-hand side. And certainly in this qualifying session, that's going to become all the important. And turn number 5, that off-camber right-hand, almost like a hairpin, an extended hairpin that comes back on itself, is that's another one that is quite tricky to master. But if you can sort of master them 2 corners, get really quick through there, that's massively going to improve your time. And obviously this corner here, turn 6 and 7, the chicane at the back end of the track, is always a good one to make up time.
Now, as always, it's a 10-minute open qualifying that is well underway. So drivers start to head across the line. We'll bring you up to date with what's happening for those guys. Now, just thank you to our sponsors for this event, Virtual Racing School. If you're looking to improve your on-track performance with 50+ data packs for road and oval racing setups, track guides, data analysis software, and also they provide one-on-one coaching as well. Also, we've got SDK Gaming, where you can add a live virtual HUD to iRacing, show timing towers, enhanced relative boxes, mini-maps, fuel calculators, and much, much more. Use it to stream to Twitch, the most complete overlay on iRacing. You can also broadcast it for your series, like we do for all of our races here at Apex. Then finally, as we see Malchek just setting the benchmark there at 143, and McBride just unsteering, carrying on there. And our final sponsor is Apex Racing Academy. They've got 29 data packs, setups, track guides, integration with VRS, our other sponsors, weekly group coaching sessions, plus much, much more. And you were saying about Porsche before, Andy. Well, that's up at the time. I mean, she said about Ferrari, they're second, and McBride currently third for BMW. So 3 different manufacturers covering our top 3 right now.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously just looking into the YouTube chat, McGlobal76, I think, agrees with me. Turn 4 will be interesting on the first lap on cold tyres. So, yeah, certainly look out for that one. I think the whole of the first lap going to be on cold tyres is going to be extremely interesting. And the guys are really going to have to be careful going around here. But you know that somebody's going to try to make that move coming out of turn 4. And it's going to take a brave man to do it on the first lap, that's for sure.
That's good to see Kamel up for Audi, up there in 7th place, but top end, top 10, we've currently got, half of them a Porsche here, with 3 Ferraris. So absolutely smack on the money there, Andy, in terms of who's going to be at the front. Only 2 cars that are not from those 2 manufacturers separating in amongst them at the moment.
It's always good to vindicate yourself if you make a statement in the broadcasting, so I'm happy with that. But yeah, it should be interesting. And I was speaking to Dennis in our broadcasting before the race started, and we were talking about the qualifying and how important it is. And it's almost like a specialised event in itself, this qualifying session, because one of the things we were talking about was Tom Bingham, very quick in the practice. He was second fastest in the practice, but he hasn't really gotten a decent qualifying time, which puts you on the back foot when you start off. Certainly in this race, you've only got the one race, 60 minutes long, so to get that vital up the grid qualifying position, it makes it all vital. So then you get away from the possible incidents that are behind him. So it's like a race in itself, this qualifying to see how we do, as we see Alan Carlegri go up to first place at the moment, overtaking Maltrek in second. But again, it's another Porsche at the top of the field.
It is, as we saw, obviously Bingham managed to get up as high as fourth, but displaced by McBride, who looks like it's BMW into fourth place. Rafatea up into eighth place for Ferrari. It's really, really tight from 8th place all the way down to 11th. Just over a tenth separating those guys, and Carriger currently for Porsche leading by just over a tenth. It's going to be an all Porsche front row as it stands at the moment, but with about a third of qualifying left to go. I'm sure that is bound to change as the track becomes more rubbered in. Tyres start to heat up, fuel loads become lighter. You can see our top three there are all on ARL laps. Likewise is Bingham, Hofgaard, Gudici as well.
Yeah, it's good to see Alan again, obviously taking over where his rather excellent race at Suzuka last round out. Getting on that pole position and pretty much making the race his own. So carrying off where he left off in Suzuka in the top post. Maltrek in the second of the Porsches. Then we have the top Ferrari there, Gittling in third place. Then we have the BMW of McBride in fourth place, and Tom Bingham in fifth, Raphael in sixth, Kayela in seventh. As we see, Schartzner move himself up in another Porsche into P6. So great to be vindicated up there as well.
It is definitely, yeah. They've got 4 of the top 6 positions, 5 of the top 8, 6 of the top 10. And only just a splattering, a smattering of Ferraris in amongst them, with only really Hupkamel for Audi and McBride for BMW able to disrupt them in that top 10. But let's see how, with people on flying laps, see how they can get on. Especially Carriger. What can he do to improve? We've seen strong performances from him in the Porsche. He's still on it. Yeah, he's still on his out lap with realistically what is going to be a 1 minute 43 lap time. He's probably only going to have the one flying lap in his bag here. And can he improve? He's going to need a strong sector 1 as he comes around turn 1 and then heads down to long swooping left-hander that is turn 2. And you have to be so careful around here, don't you, Andy? Just with waiting to get onto the power, and with cold tyres on the first lap, it's always a bit of a hotbed for action. And likewise, you mentioned turn 4 just coming up to now. It's another one with those curbs on the outside. You catch those wrong and it sends you straight into the barrier on the left-hand side.
Yeah, definitely, and that was the off-camber turn number 5 there, coming up to the tight chicane of 6 and 7. You'll take that inside curb and just ride the curbs on the outside, and that's where you're probably thinking that the BMWs will eat them corners up and not lose, as we saw the Porsche bouncing over them corners. And then we come down to the back end of the circuit, turn 8, 9 and 10. And exactly like you say there, it's you've got to be patient, because if you get on, and we'll see what happens here, you just start squirreling the back end of the car. So you've really got to be patient on that accelerator. Wait for the moment so you can see the corners opening and then accelerate. And I think it's very much a patient game round here, and it's going to be all about consistency on the laps as we come up to the last corner here, the hairpin right at the end, trying to get to that apex on the inside really tight to open up the track, and then go out wide on the left, take a bit of the curb on the left there to get over the lap. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting opening lap in here, and yeah, the drivers just need to be aware that these tyres are cold, this track is treacherous, and it will bite.
Yeah, just unable to improve there. Improved in the first sector, but no improvement in the second and the third. Say he 22nd place heat for Ferrari. He managed to improve his time, come up the timing sheet, but Gandolfi really far down, and yet to set a time. It's all or nothing for him. This is coming around the third sector now. Yeah, we've seen
it's very strange.
Strong performances from him. It looks like he's had off tracks so far that have hampered him.
Yeah, another driver that we're expecting to see normally at the top of the grid is Janowski's unfortunately serving a pit lane start for this race, so that's why he's not on the timing tower at the moment. So Janowski and Matthew Hubbard, who I don't think is actually racing here, is there, but we see Albert Gandolfi just managing to get his 10th car into 10th place at the moment, so at least he moves up close to the front.
It's all it takes. It's just that one lap as the track seems to be getting slower, if anything. No one really improving at all. Let's just watch Logson just come across the line. Currently in 24th for Porsche. And that's an improvement by 4 places, up to 20th. But with quite a few of our stronger drivers, not as hype as what you expect to see. You know, Cullishaw, he's down in 18th. We've seen strong performances from him this season. So he's just closing out. Well, he's going around an extra lap, just getting every little bit of practice he can in. Be able to bring you up your grid very shortly once there we go. So, Carrigue starting on pole for Porsche with Malchek alongside for company. An all-punch Porsche front row. Then it's the first non-Porsche runner. It's Gickling for Ferrari, McBride for BMW. But then it's another all-Porsche row with Bingham and Shartner on the third row. Rafteya as Kaleja on for company. Then Hupkamal, the fastest of all the Audis, in 9th with Gandolfi alongside on the 5th row. Then we've got Hofgaard and Hubler in 11th and 12th place. At 13th is Christensen with Vinagre currently in 14th. And then it's Engelhardt's 15th. 16th is Gudici. Manners is 17th with countryman Cullishaw for company in 18th. Winness, after his win in the first round at Nürburgring, has struggled. He's 19th. Luxon alongside him, so him just improving at the end for Porsche there. Merlov, starting a bit down for where we expect him. He's 21st with Pajero in 22nd. David Whitehouse, one of our fellow commentators, he's 23rd with Mattea, the Italian, in 24th. There's Adam Kindness, another driver, well down in the Audi. He's 25th with Brett Robson in 26th. Roy Palmas, you can see him returning, and is in 27th with Janowski in 28th. And Vince Harley rounding out your grid here for Lamborghini. So we just wait for the drivers to take to the grid, and then they'll head out for the traditional rolling start that is accustomed to in GT racing. Behind the Porsche 911 safety car that we have here in iRacing. Now, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening here, Apex Racing TV, don't forget to give us a like on the video and a subscribe. But also, you can find us on Twitter, where we are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And Instagram, that's Apex Racing TV. Now, if you're new to this series, of course, the drivers have limited to 60% fuel capacity within their fuel tanks, so there will be pit stops, and we've seen before now, Andy, haven't we, where that really does tend to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly did, and it looked like the car in 6th place, I've got it was, actually didn't take the grid there, so he'll be starting in the pit lane, so a bit of a mistake, whoever that was, I can't remember who it was that was in 6th.
Shartner, I think.
Yeah, it was Shartner, wasn't it? So obviously he will be starting in pit. Didn't get the grid up today, so we're just about to start the race. I'll hand over to Tim for the start of the race action. Thank
you very much, and let's get ready for round 4 at the Hungaroring, and we are away. And here come the Porsches. Carrigue just getting a real good strong jump there. Malchek just having to dart in behind him to try and get some of that slipstream and defend from Gickling and the Ferrari, who's going to look to send it round the outside into turn 1. But he needs to be really careful because McBride is following through, but Bingham is alongside him. He's going to be on the outside on the run down to turn 2. Can he get his Porsche around the outside of Bingham? The strength of McBride, sorry. If we see the strength of this BMW, as everyone seems to be filtering through okay, and everyone seems to got through as they're going 3 wide there. That's Gudici and Christensen and Stuart Witness. Oh no! Needs to be careful now with this rejoining Ferrari spinning across the track, and I think everybody has just somehow managed to avoid it.
I thought that was going to be a catastrophe. I thought it was.
You could see him spinning across the track and just gittling back across into everyone. The people really to benefit out of this is Kindness. He's up 6 places already, and Robson likewise, another driver up 6 places, really capitalising. Likewise, Whitehouse, he's in 17th currently. You just see Hubler there, passed by the Lamborghini of Engelhardt, and now vulnerable to the Ferrari of Gudici, who's coming alongside. Going to come hard onto the brakes, but now Gudici's under attack from Van Ogre. He's going to look to head up the inside. Just can he get that nose in front? Yes, he can. And that is good enough to get himself ahead. Gudici's going to have that inside line. Just needs to cover it off from the Porsche behind of Van Ogre. And wow, what an eventful first lap there, Andy. And so close to near disaster for so many of our drivers.
Yeah, overall it was actually a really good first lap, apart from we watched the incident here going sort of 3 wide up to turn 4 on the first lap. It's a bit, and unfortunately got a little bit of tap behind, and I just thought he would have picked up the cars on the road, but luckily stayed still, and somehow, like you were saying on stream, all the other cars managed to avoid him. So that's great awareness from the rest of the field there, because he was just like a flying missile that wasn't going to get out of the way. And as we watch on track now, we got this really big battle here for 3rd place with Gickling, McBride and Kaela just managed to get in front of Tom Bingham for 5th place. So we saw Tom just getting a bit bent out of shape there coming down the straight, trying to make a move on McBride, but unfortunately Kaela just managing to sneak in there to 5th place. So just tyres now getting up to temperature, so the guys will start be getting faster laps as we go into this, and that's where we'll certainly see the lot hot action go in, and the more ambitious moves, I will say, coming in around this Hungaroring track. So just buckle up your seatbelt, sit back, eat that popcorn, and enjoy the rest of this 57-minute race that's remaining.
I see Hupkumel in the Audi looking incredibly racy, trying to get up the inside of Rafatsea, but it's all happening behind him as well. Gudici versus Hofgaard. And that Porsche, sorry, it was Hubler, wasn't it? Sorry, just squeezed past there, but right now, Hupkumel, despite looking really attacking onto the back of Rafatsea, it's not just, well, he seems to be yo-yoing between him. He's attacking one moment and then dropping back. This absolutely big group of cars, and you've got Stuart Witness tucked in the middle of them, and not where he would be hoping to be right now. Just the pedigree of the BMW driver. I mean, you called it early on, Andy. You know, it's being a complete dominating performance from Porsche and Ferrari here as they head round turn 2 for the 3rd time now. And yeah, called absolutely spot on, with realistically only Hupkumel and McBride being the only ones out of the top 10 to separate them.
Yeah, I did obviously mention that McBride has just got this BMW nailed down. Doesn't matter about the track, you know, and what we would expect the cars to be. He's very quick in that car. Obviously, topping the championship as we go into this round number 4. Had an excellent one. Obviously, had a bit of a disaster in Suzuka, but still managing to get the car to 6th place after changing some tyres. But you know, currently up in 4th place, just on the back of Gickling. Just going to try and challenge him possibly here, getting him lined up here. It'd be wise just to try and keep right behind him, but he's not going to do that. He's trying to get down the inside here of Gickling. Unfortunately, it's going to be close, but Gickling will have the inside for the turn number 13 here.
Okay, but needs to be really, really careful about McBride of Kazea. He's just behind him in that Porsche and looking to get through. Right now, these two, Gickling and McBride, as McBride's got to the inside, he's going to make the cutback on the Ferrari and not able to quite get the move done. He's moved out, but he's not in the slipstream, whereas Kahea in the Porsche is able to utilise the both of them there. But there we go, McBride just later on the brakes there, and getting through into turn 1 and past Gickling. This is right now where they need, but these two need to be careful for the two Porsches who are swarming behind them as they both go 2 by 2, and Bingham picking up a place there, taking it back from Kea, who just pretty much stole the place from him. The same place last lap. And some two lovely moves there from both McBride and Bingham.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real hot action battle here for the third place between McBride, Gickling, Bingham and Kayela at the moment. And like you say, some nice passing moves, giving each other a lot of respect. This is obviously an amateur championship with a maximum iRating of 2.5 to enter. But, you know, because they're all around about the same, pretty much like we saw in the Pro, the standard of racing is just exceptional, really. And, you know, great credit to all the drivers out on track. They do make it an excellent series and give the room on the majority. I said there is the odd occasion that we do have the honest amateur yeet, but apart from that, it's really good. But throughout the field, we'll see some hot battling here tonight at the Hungaroring. But really looking forward to the rest of this race to see what it brings up to.
There is 6 minutes gone, which comes up to 7. Your order right now is Carragher following Maltrek in second. Over 1-2 for Porsche at Hungaroring. McBride is third. Gickling is fourth. Bingham fifth. Cahea is sixth. Gandolfi 7th. Raffatea 8th. Kamel is 9th. And Gudici rounding out your top 10. But Bingham really on the attack of Gickling right now. And look just how close he's able to get to the back of the Ferrari. Nearly touching bumper to bumper here. And Bingham absolutely all over the gearbox of that Ferrari, but just can't seem to quite find a way past. But he needs to be really careful of Kea. He's going to look to just maybe nick the move through where Bingham's trying to find a way past. And his Porsche is looking so much more stronger right now over the Ferrari. And I know they're going to be desperately trying to get ahead of Gickling because all they can see is McBride, who's pulled out already a 1.5 second gap over Gickling in the Ferrari. And where can the Porsches look to get past here, Andy? I know it's a bit more of a tougher overtaking track is the Hungaroring, but where would you put your money on for them to try and get the move done?
It's got to be down to turn number 1, isn't it? Certainly as close as they are. We saw Tom there quite close to Gickling there to try and make the move, but pulled out at the last minute just to probably gain his confidence of the car and make sure the tyres are up to temperature. So certainly turn number 1, or as we've seen previously, like turn number 2, if that front car manages to take the outside line, there's always that inside curve that you can get, but the rest of the track is very hard to overtake. There is one fast line around this track, really, and there's not.
Oh,
really
Andy, sorry to cut across you because Bingham has managed to get past Gickling. Oh no, but Gickling's fighting back just off camera. That move started. It's the last but one corner, and they're going to come side by side out of the last corner. But Bingham, they sort of move across the straight, trying to cover each other off, trying to break the toe for one another. But it looks like Bingham is going to get the move done. That's his to keep his 4th place. And now begins the hunt to try and chase down McBride in the BMW. Okay, just trying to find a way past Gickling while he's looks he's vulnerable. Trying to send it round the outside, but Gandolfi's joined right up in amongst this battle now in the Ferrari. And somehow they all managed to settle down, and the only change overall has been Bingham just getting ahead there. And you said it hit turn 1 while Bingham just got the move done a couple of corners prior to that.
Or turn 13. I was going to go on to turn 13 there, and the exceptional move there, but that's probably a good corner. But you know, it seems like Gickling is holding up the guys here. So we just see Tom get past him, managing to get a little bit of a lead back. But there's a big gap now formed between McBride and Bingham. So Gickling was certainly seemed to be on a slower pace than the rest, and now it's up to Kayela and Gandolfi behind Gickling to see if they can get past him. Otherwise, we might see Tom getting away as well. So Gickling seems to be holding the pack up, but that's his rightful place. He is in 5th place overall, just by his own abilities, and it's up to the rest of the cars to try and get past him.
Well, and he's there on merit as well, based on raw pace. As we just see a real strong battle here with Collishaw coming under attack from Pajero. Shaw's gone from attacking the back of Ferrari driver Mattea in front. So then, having a gap generated, and then Pajero just catching right up to him, and the Ferrari is looking a lot stronger through the last corner there. What sort of run can they get off it? Looks like Coleshaw, yeah, he's carrying a little bit of front left damage from that earlier spin that we saw from Engelhardt. He was the only person to make contact with them, but wow, look, you can see the Lamborghini looking so much stronger, just running a little bit too deep there. And that's going to give Coleshaw a bit of a sigh of relief, but Coleshaw running a bit lower than where we normally expect him, Andy, you know, down in 20th currently.
Yeah, he's normally up there, but he's quite prone to, unfortunately, being the one on the receiving end of a slight tap, should I say, going into some of the corners. So it's put paid to some of his races, but like I say, normally a very quick driver, and normally right at the front of the grid. So this might not be his track, as we all know that the tracks are different, and each driver will have their preferences of what they like, what they don't like, and unfortunately we're seeing Coleshaw down in P20 at the moment, but we're seeing a battle on screen with Hofgaard, with Hubler just behind him, and we've got Vingare just off the back. So this battle here for 11th place at the moment, sorry, 10th place at the moment, we're watching on screen. So trying to make the dive down the missile is Hubler, but not quite making it done. It's like I say, it's just so difficult on this track to get that position taken, and if you come off the racing line, as we've seen previously, you can actually get overtaken by the car behind you. So you got to be really sure that you can get past that car when you make that move off the racing line. Otherwise, you could be open to an attack from behind, as we've already seen by the front runners.
Just see Pajero, who's Mattea has just dropped a couple of places. He's dropped behind Coleshaw, Pajero. Also dropped off a little bit off the back of them, but look, they've closed right up onto the back of Robson, as look, they're looking to try and squeeze their way through the Porsche and the Ferrari, so the Ferrari and the Lamborghini there, but just Robson just somehow managing to get the better run off the corner, but you almost feel like it is only time for Robson is overtaken by Coleshaw and Pajero, and they're just looking so much more stronger. They seem to have more grippers. Here comes Coleshaw, going to go too wide, nearly having contact there. It's reminiscent of what we had on the first lap, as Robson just runs out a little bit wide onto those curbs. Needs to be careful through there, where you can just lose a bit of traction and send the car spinning off to the left-hand side of the track. Somehow, I'm not too sure how, they all managed to get through that and unscathed. Oh no, we've got that's one of the BMWs off there.
Sure, wasn't it?
It is.
Just looking terrible, isn't it? You know, after his first excellent win at the Nürburgring, since then every round he's had a disaster, and yet again here at the Hungaroring has a spin, takes him down to P24, but what we see behind him is Jovanovski as well, who is normally a very quick driver. It just shows how difficult it is to pass on this track. So we'll just have a replay here of what happened. Coming around turn number 5, coming up to turn 6. Does he take too much of the corner? Let's have a look.
Looks like he's trying to make a move there, and just comes off the worst. Collision with the Ferrari there.
Ambitious move, I think.
It was brave, but as you were saying earlier, Andy, with so few overtaking opportunities around here, do you find drivers, you know, start to become a bit competitive and trying to make, you know, make a move where there's not always enough room compared to what you normally would have at some of the other circuits that we've been to in the calendar.
Yeah, one other person that is making a move here is McBride in 3rd place, managing to get up to getting towards the back of Maltrek for 2nd place. So has closed that gap down really well, and is certainly on a mission. And you can see Maltrek in front of him, the 2 Porsches, just to try and prove me wrong and try and get the that 1st place at the moment. But certainly on the move, and opened up a sizable gap back to Tom Bingham in 4th place as we see this battle.
Witness had another incident because Jovanovski's got past him.
He did. He had a crash. I can see on the timer with might have been with Pajero.
No, he's all by himself there. Has he just lost the rear on corner entry? Yes, he has, and takes it Tokyo Drift style through turn 2. Even more time, but Huckemel for Audi Under attack from Gudici in the Ferrari. Absolutely stunning gold livery that he runs. Really shows the car off to its best abilities. But what can he do? We know about the Ferrari straight line speed. Can he get the move down into turn 1? There's 3 attempts between these two guys, but just at the moment, this gap's sort of stabilising, and feels like Guidici's almost happy to sit behind Huub Kamel.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. Obviously, the Audi sort of went out of favour with the GT3 crew as such, and you very rarely see them on the outing. So it's great to see 2 Audis in this championship here. One with Huub Kamel, as we're watching in P9, just trying to hold off Gucci Elliott, and we've got Adam Kindness, who has done what we. Move here by Robinson on Collishaw, so it's going quite slow actually here.
Yeah, these two have been battling out for the last few laps. But Collishaw just not able to find that critical move to get past Robson after closing right up onto the back of them. Collishaw be worried with Kindness. We've seen his strength and quality of performances that he's put in so far in this championship. You only feel that it's only time before he closes up onto the back of these two. As we see, Robson just run a little bit wide there, but heading back up the field, Gudici is closer than he's ever been to the back of Huub Kamel. He makes a lunge for the inside, and that has got him up into 9th place. But Huub Kamel just fighting back. He's going to have the inside line for the next corner, but can Gudici just hang it around the outside? No, he can't. And after, in the space of 2 corners, Huub Kamel loses place and then regains it. But here comes Gudici. He's going to be on the inside. It's going to be who's going to get the best run off the corner. They're side by side. They bang doors. Huub Kamel just getting the run off there. But Hofgaard is just looming in the background. He's now right amongst these two. They come down onto turn 1, and Gudici goes for another attempt up the inside. Can he get the move done now? But Huub Kamel fights back yet again. And all while this is going on, Hofgaard is just sitting in the background, trying to follow whoever he thinks is going to come through first. And somehow they just all settle back down again after trading places, spending so much time side by side. And they're back to where they were. But now they've got 2 Porsches behind them, and Hofgaard and Vinagre.
Definitely, Gudici. So putting out his arms there, going into corner, trying to force the space out and pushing Huub Kamel off. But Huub Kamel's getting a bit wise to it, giving him the space on the inside because he's going in rather hot into these corners, getting into a little bit out on the exit. And Huub Kamel is just following the racing line and able to take back the position on the corner exits, as we saw on the last 2 corners where Gudici was very much trying to get him in, but certainly a hot battle here for 9th for Huub Kamel and Gudici. But we're looking back up to this battle here with Gickling, Kaela and Gandalf. So Gickling still managing to hold off Kaela and Gandalf in 5th place at the moment, so doing a great defensive job. But certainly now look, Tom Bingham's managed to get away from these two, nearly 1.5 seconds away from Gickling, so certainly Gickling is holding up this field, and that's perfect for the guys in front of them, McBride, Bingham, Maltrek and Carnier in 1st place, is that they can now get away.
As we approach 3rd race distance, Kahea just heading up the inside and finally gets past Gickling, who then shuts the door on his fellow Ferrari driver. Gandolfi just behind and kills off any momentum and progress he was looking to make, trying to follow Kahea through. But it's not all over quite yet. You see Gickling trying to find a way back, but that Ferrari of Gickling is looking really unsettled. He just doesn't seem to have the confidence with the heavy fuel load compared to what he had during the light fuel load. And we see Huub Kamel versus Gudici. They nearly come into contact there, and it's like holding the breath from the pair of us in the commentary box. It's Gudici. He moves left and right again, trying to find a way past, but unable to. And it's just, wow, how these two have not come together yet, Andy. I do not know. They've been side by side so much. They've, shut the door on each other so many times. I'm surprised they're still going.
I know. I mean, Guidicini is just trying everything he can to get past. Huckamel's. Oh, you see Ronald Shartner getting off. That's turn number 5, I believe it is. Yes, turn for number 5 there.
That's. I think he's lost a couple of places there.
Around turn
Take a
4.
look.
Very
What's
wide.
happened to him? Sent it up the inside. Ooh, that was a bit controversial there. That was Mattea. He just had contact with.
Very ambitious move. That
was, but Mattea seemed to be going really, really slow, and that's maybe why he made the lunge there. So we now head back up to Whitehouse, who really benefited from that earlier melee that we had at turn 4. And he's up 8 places, but likewise Robson, who's behind him, is up 10 as well, as you see Robson just defending there from Collishaw. So yeah, an absolutely brilliant display from these two drivers, and also, well, worth mentioning is Manilov, who's a little bit up the road from these guys, who's up 7 places as well. And he's in a little pocket of space by himself. So a few drivers who really benefited from all the carnage and mayhem in turn 4 on the first lap.
Yeah, as we watch Janowski trying to get up positions here, trying to take Mata in 19th place. You know, I think looking at the tactic-wise, it would make sense for Janowski and the lower down, faster runners to try and get that early pit stop to try and undercut some of these drivers, getting a bit of free space, get some decent lap times and try to overtake them out on track in the pit lanes, because at the moment he's really languishing down there in P20 when we normally see him in the top 5 battling it out for the race win. So, you know, that pit lane start has really affected Janowski here today. So maybe I think my best option for him would to come in at the earliest opportunity he can for that one stop to get to the end of the race, and then try and get some positions in the pit lane, because these cars in front of him, and no disrespect to them, are probably slightly slower than what Janowski is, and it's probably holding him up on track. So he possibly needs to think about that early pit stop just to try and get some jump places in the pit lane. But we're back on board with Whitehouse now. One of our fellow commentators trying to have a real battle with Robson.
Bit of contact in the background there. There was kindness. He just had a bit of, I think he had a bit of contact with Collishaw, who was in the walls yet again, but doesn't seem to affect him too much as they all head into a slipstream. What Collishaw do as he moves to the left and the right, all just swapping around, trying to cover each other off right now, and somehow avoiding one another. But yeah, there was a bit of a lunge from kindness, and I'm not sure whether he actually did make contact with Collishaw, because kindness doesn't seem to be carrying any damage to the front end of that Audi R8.
Well, Robson and Collishaw having a real big battle in this race. 23 minutes and pretty much been stuck together trying to get past each other. So these two are having a really good ding-dong on track in P16, P16 with Robson and Collishaw. At the moment, Dave Whitehouse is just in front of this group, but he's massively under pressure.
Well, I was just worried we were going to have another bit of contact there, Andy, because it looked that way from that camera angle. It's definitely hold your breath there, everyone. Let's see, well, Collishaw getting really, really loose there on the exit of the chicane.
I think Robson's getting a little bit frustrated here with Whitehouse in front of him. You can sort of see him trying to make them little lunges as possible, so he just needs to keep his head, just keep up behind him and try to get that slipstream at him and not make a silly mistake to take himself out of the race. So, you know, just needs to calm down. Look, I mean...
Well, here he comes! This is going to be up the inside. Can he make the move stick? They bang doors on the corner exit. Keep one eye on Collishaw in the background. That orange Ferrari who runs it in deep and nearly ends up in the back of Robson, who then has to drop off the back of Whitehouse. But look at kindness. What sort of run could he get off the last corner? You saw him sway all the way out there to try and straighten up the corner exit. And now there's going to be a big fight as they run down to turn 1. Who's going to come out on top? There's Whitehouse at the front of this, trying to move around, trying to break the slipstream of the cars behind.
I mean, how did Collishaw not take out Robson there? I just don't know how he did that.
I don't know myself, but it's Gickling just losing a place there to Gandolfi. Gandolfi finally finding a way past, but also Rafatic, what can he do? Is Gickling going to lose 2 places in as many corners? come on to the brakes, but no, Raffaele just looking to back out of it there.
Oh.
Oh no! That's collar short off.
Oh,
You saw the
I think
blue
it was coming.
Audi.
I think it was coming.
This has been brewing for so many laps.
It was the
Just come
kindness,
from
yeah.
along. Has he lost the car all by himself, or is kindness?
No.
Oh no! Oh,
Whoa.
and then contact as well from the Ferrari coming through.
Just for to add insult to injury, another hit from behind. So puts paid to collar short, and Robson's battle there.
That was Christensen, I think, who was coming through, who was a lap down on those guys, and he caught up in that first lap melee. And yet again in the wars, but I mean, I'm relieved in some ways because I'm not sure my heart could take all that close racing for much longer, but equally disappointed as well.
Yeah,
Those guys have all dropped off one another now.
But I think it's probably happened at the most opportune time if you're going to have an accident. You're in the pit stop window now, 26 minutes gone. So Paul can go into the pits, get that fast repair that each one of these drivers have, take on his fuel, and he won't lose a massive amount of time. He's lost time, obviously, from the spin that he had, but overall, it could be worse for him. He could have to go in and get the repair, but at least he can get kill two birds with one stone. So it's not all doom and gloom for him. So I'll expect to see Paul Coleshaw coming into the pits this lap. As I say that, there he goes.
As if by magic, Jared follows him in as well, and we've hardly mentioned these guys out in front as we're coming up to half race distance. But Courage currently leading with Maltrek only just over half a second behind, and McBride, after initially closing up the gap a little bit, that's starting to neutralise a bit now, and it seems to be stuck at right about that 1.5 second mark off the back of Maltrek, and can't seem to make any advances on the two Porsches right now, Andy.
No, it seems like Maltrek has actually closed up the gap. He was about 1.2 seconds behind Carnegie in first place, and is definitely on the charge now. So there's going to be a hot action for that first.
Kindness just losing a place to Jevnovsky, who's cutting his way back through the field after starting in the pits. Kindness just yielding the place to the BMW there. There's Bingham, he's headed into the pits. See, where is he going to come out? As you see, there's a BMW just running wide. I think that might have been Winnes in the background there. Here comes Bingham into the pits though. Is he? I'm trying to think where his pit box is. Yeah, there we go. Right down the end. But he's the first of the front runners to pit. It'll be interesting to see if he can come out in some fresh air. He could really benefit from this, couldn't he, Andy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly if he comes out very shortly, as you see him there, he'll be behind Janowski and Kindness, who are very quick drivers, so could give him decent slipstream on that opening lap. Let his tyres get back up to temperature, and he could actually gain some time on McBride, although he did have a sizable lead as McBride over Bingham there in third place that he had. So yeah, he may get up, but he's probably trying to consolidate that fourth place overall and trying to get a bit more of a jump on Kayela, who's currently in P4. It's about 8 seconds, 7 seconds behind McBride at the moment there in P4, and Gandolfi is off. So they sort of spread out a little bit at the front of the field now, from 4th down to 5th and 6th. It's like 2 seconds between them, whereas obviously at the start of the race we literally saw them all on top of each other trying to fight for that 4th place. But the battle at the moment seems to be for this first place position, where Maltrek only 0.5 of a second will be in the slipstream. McGonaghy coming down into turn 1 won't have the space to try and get it due, but will close that gap up a little bit more as we see it come down to 0.4 of a second.
But Andy, one thing's worth pointing out is these two are closing up on lap traffic. It's one of the Lamborghinis in front of them. I think there might be Pajero ahead of them there. And what part can they play in this story tonight? Obviously, if they start to close up on them, if they just catch them at the wrong point, this could really play into McBride's hands, especially. Try and take a large chunk of time out of these two, as it looks like they're going to catch them probably, I'd say, within about the next 3 or 4 corners. which means that's around sort of part of the track where there's only really one line around there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're going to be considerably slower than these front runners, and exactly that, it'll let McBride close up. But what it will also do is the people that have pitted and the people that are further back will let them close up, so Kayela could close up on McBride. And it all depends on what these back markers do. If they come out, let's say, as we see him down here, I think they're going to be okay on this lap, and they might get him down the start-finish straight. But at the moment, it's a bit of still of a sizable gap between that back marker we see just in front of Alan Carnegie here in first place. So see how they pay out in the race. But the field's getting a little bit stretched out. I think this is probably the worst.
There we go. Maltrek's headed in.
Yeah,
he's blinked first to this top three, and he's headed to the pits. Now, just keep one eye. Bingham is the first of the top guys to pit. He is down in 19th place currently. You can imagine Maltrek should come out in front of him. See Rafatea looking up on to the back of Gickling, who's almost been in reverse a little bit, down 3 places from where he started currently. Really struggling as Rafatea looking to head up the inside, but no, Gickling just shutting the door there. Probably Ferrari driver. And it's getting so, I mean, just before the, obviously before Maltrek, as Whitehouse also heads into this, before Maltrek headed to the pits there, McBride had really closed up, even without the benefit of the back marker, and he's now only 1.5 seconds off the back of Karajan, whereas previously he was 1.5 seconds off the back of Maltrek. So he's really taken a good chunk of time out of those guys, even without the use of the back markers.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bingham there only stopped for 17 seconds in the pit and 21 seconds for Maltrek. So Bingham's made up 4 seconds on Maltrek just in the pit box alone. So Maltrek taking on a little bit more fuel there, being 21 seconds stationary. So it'll be interesting to see these other front runners to see how much fuel they take on board, and if they're anything like where Tom Bingham was at 17 seconds, then you could find that Maltrek could be further down the field than where he went in P2.
Shartner's headed to the pits, likewise as Vince Harley as well from 26th place. See Bingham there, now up onto the back of Winness, the winner in race 1. Winness not had it all his way since then. Really struggled as we see Kea. He's into the pits from 3rd. The Porsche driver. He was just behind Bingham
so this could
for
be
the rounds of pit stuff. So yeah, what can he do? Obviously, you mentioned about that short stop there from Bingham. It's either a master stroke or he's not put enough fuel in that car, which is what worries me a little bit. Can he get it home? But we'll keep one eye on how Kea's doing. This is Bingham. Right now, we're just watching Rafatea, who's got Hupcom Merle behind them.
I think sort of average time, it's around about 16 to 18 seconds in the pit. So the 21, nearly 22 seconds of Maltrek seems to be an excessively long stint. Maybe
is heading out, and I think he's going to. There's Bingham just emerging as he heads across the pit road. Oh, that was so close as he's trying to clear Stuart Winness there. And nearly cut across the pit lane. Pretty much pedestrian Kehea in his Porsche exiting the pits. So we see Winness fighting back against Bingham. And that could have been absolute disaster for those two guys. But wow, just how close, and it showed also. Kehea stopped for 3 seconds longer than what Bingham did. And it showed just how much time Bingham has lost behind Stuart Winness over the last couple of laps.
Yeah, it just shows the pace difference, between the drivers. Tom was probably around about 2 seconds ahead going into the pit stops, and with being around Stuart Winness has lost it out. I mean, the gap will probably start to extend now because he has to try and get past Winness behind him, and Kayela needs to try and jump them over. We've got Collishaw as well in between the two drivers, so that he needs to try and get past them, because these two do not have to yield to him because they're on the same lap. So
well, Collishaw isn't though. He's not. He is actually a lap down. versus these guys. You see him pull over to the right-hand side there. That's Luis Cajea. We've got Hupka Mel. He's into the pits. He came in from, I think it was a 7th place just before he headed in. So you imagine he would have come all behind these guys. Meanwhile, Jaranovski's got himself up to 12th place, but he does have to stop again. Obviously starting from the pit lane. The Bulgarian right now. Karajay leading by 1.5 seconds over McBride. Gandolfi third, Gickling fourth, Rafaseas fifth, Gudici, Hofgaard, Vinagre, Manners and Manilov rounding out your top 10 at the moment. Drivers that are so far stopped. It's currently Bingham leading that group with Cajea. Second place of the guys so far to stop. As Loxon's headed to the pit lane as well. But here we go. This all. I thought he was going to tease me a little bit there, but no, he is in from the lead. Karajay, he has come in. Now, question is, what is going to happen against Maltrek, who is just looking at it. He's about, as it stands at the moment, about 50 seconds down the road. Has Maltrek done enough to get his way past? As we also see Rafter, Gudici and Hofgaard heading to the pits.
He's had the best opportunity though, Tim. He's had a clear track in front of him, as we can see now. So, you know, it was all down to him if he could get that decent outlap when he come out. So it'll be interesting to see when he comes down the pit lane how close he is to Carnegie just went in. So he's just coming on pit exit now. So I think that he is still going to be, and he might have extended that lead
Wow,
slightly.
yes, look at the gap between them.
Wow.
That is a mammoth gap.
They
Look, Karajay's managed to...
0.5 of a second behind us. Now he's probably about 6-7 seconds behind him, I would say.
I think more. I think it's actually closer to 8 almost, if my maths is correct. I haven't quite managed to break out the abacus yet, but that's a big old chunk of time. He's gained around about, what, some 6-7 seconds there, hasn't he? Because he's got, more like 7 seconds. That's a massive gap to pull up. It's only a couple of laps difference between these guys stopping.
And that's the difference with the pit lane. You got Alan Carnegie in 15.88 and Maltrek at 21.98. So there's the difference of the timing that we're seeing. Is the difference that the fuel that the two guys have taken on board. So Maltrek taking a load more fuel than all the other drivers around him. So you may find him getting onto the back of Tom Bingham, who's not that far away from him, 6 seconds behind. And if Maltrek gets caught up in some back markers, then could be game on there between Maltrek and Bingham.
Well, just to add extra spice to the meal, McBride is into the pits from first place. Gandolfi, Gickling, Vinagre also following him in. Now, where is McBride going to come out in this little melee between Maltrek and Karajay? Because he was closing up to the back of Maltrek. Now, if he comes out behind him again, that just shows what a performance Alan Karajay has put in the Porsche on his in-laps. As Manners comes round again, and he's going to take the lead for now. But Karajay, he's out in front of McBride, and only just.
Yeah.
Though it was clearly the extra time plus also time lost on his outlap by Maltrek, but you can't even see him in the shot right now. Just now you can see him just coming into shot. He's 7 seconds off the back of McBride. So he's lost about 7.5 seconds there, of which, like you say, about 3 or 4 of those are down to the pit stop time, but even so, he's had a shocker of an outlap.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously caught up with maybe a little bit of traffic that we didn't see on track, but it's more like 6 seconds the difference between their lap pit stop times and the two guys in front of Van Egg and McBride. So you know, that's really what's hurt him in this raid, and at the moment he's stuck in a sort of like a no man's land at the moment in 4th place. there, but we see Gandolfi actually managing to leapfrog Tom Bingham as well. So Gandolfi managing to gain up a couple of places there over Kayela and Bingham to jump into 5th place, although Bingham is right behind Gandolfi. So that's certainly going to be a hot race for 5th place at the moment.
We're talking of hot races. The battle you've got on screen now is for 11th place. We've got Vinagre in the Porsche, Hofgaard that team slow Porsche, and then Hupkamel in the Audi behind them. 2 Porsches out front, following incredibly closely. With Hofgaard looking stronger and a bit more racy at the moment, really applying the pressure to Vinagre as Manners has come into the pit from the lead. He won the last, I think, yeah, he was the last driver to stop. The advantage of that is going to have to put less fuel in compared to his competitors. So where can he come out in amongst all of this? You see these two carry on round again. He's going to come out in front, down into turn 1. See Manners there. He's going to drop down to, it looks like about 13th place behind Hupkamel. But what can Hofgaard do? Got around about a third of the race left to go here, Randy. It's he's still got plenty of time, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. I'm just looking at the movers and shakers, and you know, like we were saying at the start, is the importance of that qualifying, because on average, it's only a couple of places gained. I think the 4th, you got a couple at 6 and 7 places, but the majority, about 2 or 3 places, only gained. Oh, as we Collishaw. Oh, where's that? That's
Hupkamel running wide. They're just trying to take evasive action to avoid Collishaw. Has he lost it?
So coming up here to
turn 4, isn't it?
Yeah, this is turn 4.
So he just lost it onto the curbs.
Yeah.
There we go. And instead about taking the ticket to the barrier, but then has to let the field come through, just stuck in the middle of the track there. Collishaw. It's not having the best of race for him, but I'll tell you what, this guy, Jemnowski, you talked about movers and shakers just before that, Andy. He's up 14 places, started from the pits. He's really had a strong race, cutting his way through the field. As that's Matea.
Coffee? Oh, Matea. Yes.
It's Matea, isn't it? I think.
Yeah,
something starts into turn 2, isn't it?
Yeah, down to turn 2.
So he's all by himself. Has he just lost the rear on the entrance to the corner? Let's find out.
Yep. Slow motion spin.
I was about to say exactly the same thing. Something else has happened to Whitehouse as well. He's had a bit of an incident. He's headed to the pits, I think, with the looks of it. As likewise, Collishaw has after his incident. So we'll bring you that one shortly, but right now we head back to Rafatea and Gudici, 2 teammates. Here we go. This is what happened to Whitehouse. We've got 2 Track Scotland cars behind. Kindness and Winness. And just lost it all by himself there. Turn 5.
So easily done though, isn't it?
It is. It is incredibly, but right now McBride is really caught up to the back of Carriger. And he's turning up the pressure, isn't he?
He certainly is.
It's been coming, hasn't it? You know, McBride has just been slowly chipping away bit by bit. You know, like the wind eroding a stone. And he's eventually managed to find himself up into striking distance of Carriger right now.
Yeah, so obviously got that little bit of slipstream, and obviously we know the BMW is very fast in a straight line, so it'll be interesting to see what happens there as we watch Guidicini going down the inside of, or was he just losing that over Rafatea in 8th place? Yeah, I believe it was. So Guidicini just losing out there to 8th place to
while these guys have been battling, though, Andy, look, the 2 Porsches have caught right up onto the back of them. Nagra and Hofgaard. Well, the teammates have been battling as they have another go at each other again. Gudici looks to get up the inside of Rafatea. Clearly no team orders in place today. This is just allowing Vinagre to, you know, just sit back and pick and choose his moment. And likewise, Hofgaard behind him. It's not not something you normally see between teammates, having a good go at each other like this.
No, certainly not when you've got two drivers right behind you. You normally do a bit of slipstream and work together, but these two certainly having a real good battle out in the front for P8 at the moment. But now, obviously, like you say, Vingray and Hofgaard is come to join the battle with these teammates. So if they carry on the way they're going and on some of the lines that they've been taking, we'll see these cars just nip up the inside and sort of steal a place off these two teammates. So they need to be aware of what's going on behind them, as well as battling it out between the two of them.
Just see Vinagre really coming under some pressure right now from Hofgaard.
That's one thing that Porsche is not.
Well, it's definitely not. It's absolutely spot on there. The Scandinavian is flying right now and desperate to have a go at the two Ferraris ahead of him. Just needs to find a way past Vinagre right now as the Ferraris, the teammates, go at each other again. And oh no, Gunichi nearly loses a place to Vinagre. Where he tried to get the move done on his teammate Rafatea. These two need to be so careful because it could end in disaster for them. And look, while they've all been battling, Kamel's now come along to join the fight, and the Audi at the back.
That's what I was going to say. Now, watch him. He's coming into the fray now, so it'll be a 5-car battle here for P8. So really good grandstand finishes. We've got 14 minutes left of this race, but these two at the front, I think, are completely oblivious as to what they're doing behind and seeing the biggest line of cars. But we join back with the front of the race here, and McBride still trying his best, keeping the same distance, but 0.3 to 0.5. So you can see sort of coming out the corner how good the Porsche is over the BM, and he manages to pull that little gap. But then when you get these fast flowing section, that's when McBride closes up. So currently at 0.3, but then you get a really tight corner, and Carnegie just manages to get that gap over McBride out to 0.5, and crucially out to 0.5 on the start finish straight like he did in the last. So it'll be interesting to see if he can do the same, because if McBride can keep within this 0.3 of a second, then I can't see how Alan can keep him at bay going down that long straight into turn number 1.
I mean, maybe, do you think McBride is maybe just biding his time, just remaining close to the back of Carajay in the hope that he can either force a mistake from him, or knows that, you know, he'll run it down into the last couple of laps and start to maybe get a bit more bold on the attempts and trying to get past him? Or do you think it's just down to raw pace where he just doesn't seem to have an answer right now for Carajay? As oh look, finally, I think that's finally they've all managed to. I think that's Rafatea. He's lost out to Gunichi, and also Vinagre. He's managed to pick his pocket. It must have been, well, those two were the two Ferraris were battling. And what we were saying about it, Andy, they needed to be careful, and Rafatea just going to end up the inside. Oh, getting incredibly close and nearly contact from behind. This Constantina effect came into place there. And Hofgaard nearly running into the back of Rafatea, and Kamel as well. The Audi having to take evasive action, but oh no, he's running a bit deep there in the Ferrari. Rafatea all over the place right now. Can this be Hofgaard's moment? He's going to have the inside corner, but Kamel looks to be following him through. Hold tight, everyone, as they just somehow slot in. And Rafatea has gone from being in the front of this 5-car train and now finds himself at the back of them. And this has all come about from battling with his teammate.
Yeah, and just getting slightly offline, like I said, there's that racing line around this track, and if you get off it, he got off it on turn number 2, which obviously compromised his speed massively coming down the straight and coming up to turn number 4, which gave the emphasis to Hofgaard and Huckamelli, who managed to get the move done just before turn 4. I was holding my breath because I thought they were going to go too wide into turn 4, but they managed to get the move done on Rafatea in 12th place at the moment before that. So absolute disastrous lap there from Rafatea, coming from P9 all the way down to P12. So, and it doesn't seem like he's able to make any comeback at the moment. His tyres might have been shot, and I think he's probably where he's at, because you can sort of see him really struggling to trying to keep on the back of Huckamelli's tail fin, but at the moment he's just losing time to these guys in front of him.
Just looking incredibly unsettled, that car. Maybe that's why it's causing him to run wide, where he's cooked his tyres from battling with his teammate. You can see he's really dropped off the back of them, but so we head back to the front. 10 minutes left. Uralda here is carried out with McBride. Valtrek has really dropped off the back of these front two. He's in third for Porsche. And then we've got Gandolfi and Bingham. Kahea is in sixth. Gickling, Gudici, Vinagre, Hofgaard and Hupke-Mel running out your top 10. As Adam Kindness has been in a bit of battle with Shartner just while we've been watching these guys as well, but they've stayed in the same place despite temporarily swapping places a little bit there.
So
Well, maybe they're off. They're going to add it again here. It looks by things, Andy, as Shartner heads to the inside, and that's going to get the move done down into turn one. And yeah, pulls away.
Yeah, Kindness must have had an incident there. You saw his lap time, a 150, I think it's a 157 with a 145 for Shatner in front of him. So massively closing him up and obviously giving him the emphasis coming down that start-finish race to get past Kindness. Kindness, very quick driver, but again, another one that's sometimes prone to slight incidences during the race. And we saw that classically in Suzuka last week, where he was running really high and then a couple of incidents put him right down to the back of the field. But in P17 at the moment, as we rejoin this battle here for P8 on track, we've got Hofgaard in P10 with Hupke-Mel, the Audi, just behind him. So he's the top Audi at the moment. Yes, he... No,
yeah, he is.
Yes,
Kindness is in 17th. At the moment.
So these two battling out. So it's like two little pockets here, a little bit of gap between Hofgaard and Vingari at the moment, but I'm pretty sure that will close up. Certainly when Vingari gets quite close to Guidicini for P8 and the defensive moves come into play.
While this has been happening though, Manners has managed to get Raffatea. He's not only dropped off the back of this group, he's completely disappeared. So much so that Manners has caught up to the back of him and passed him. Over 12th place.
154 his lap time.
He's
Wow,
gone
that is
from
a drop
bad
off.
to worse for him. So the lap prior losing, he lost 4 places then, and just another place to Manners. And now finds himself all the way down in 13th place, and yes, luckily got a bit of a gap to Jim Noski, who's behind him, who's in 14th place at 14. We head to the front with only 7 minutes left here for round 4 at the Hungaroring. And what can McBride do? He's starting to run out of time a little bit here. But with both of these drivers with 1 win for the season each, we couldn't have had 2 better drivers at the front, really, could we, Andy?
No, definitely not. But I mean, he just can't seem to get over that last hurdle. You know, he's got right behind him. You know, we can see there it gets down to 0.3 of a second. Then Ganagi has a really good set of corners that takes it out again to about 0.5, 0.6, and it's like concertinaing throughout the lap. But at the moment, Alan's doing an exceptional job over Matthew in second place, just to keep that arm's length. But you can certainly see that BMW in his rear view mirrors, and he's certainly being made to work for this. Obviously didn't have to at Suzuki, got such a massive lead really, but this one he's certainly going to work for that first place, whoever wins out of these two, that's for sure.
We look back from the rear right now of Carriger. Right all over the back from you were saying about Andy. This is through the section of the track where the BMW is incredibly quick and strong.
Probably to do with the BMW being able to go, like you were saying at the start, being able to handle these curbs a lot better than the Porsche can, because that's very much a section where you do take a lot of curbs, and then you get into this section where you don't really take a lot of curbs, so the Porsche manages to get that little bit of a gap. But we can see here Hupke-Mel now right onto the back of Hofgaard, challenging him for that top 10 position at the moment. So these two are having a real good battle where they've been battling quite a lot during this race already today, so we'll see who wins out of the Hofgaard Hupke-Mel battle. But at the moment, Guidicini and Veragre is still out in front, and the next big battle is here for 5th place. We've got Tom Bingham in 5th, and Kayela currently sat in 6th place just behind him. So the battle of the Porsches here for that 5th place position, and pretty much only 5 minutes left, so probably about 2 or 3 laps remaining of this race. So a lot of battles, individual battles throughout the track is going to come down to these last couple of laps.
It is, and really now, time is starting to run out for these guys here, Kadea, and also McBride ahead in his fight with Carriger for the win. But with these two, with the same manufacturer, it makes it all the more tougher. It's a tough track to pass at anyway. You're battling with a car that is strong in exactly the same parts of the track as yourself. It all comes down to driver skill, or even, dare I say it, a mistake from one of the other. Just taking a bit more of the sweeping, wider entry there into turn 5. Well, this is going on. Hungaroring and Kudici have been having a bit of a battle, but they've stayed as they are for now. And we've just under 5.
Oh, no, he's out.
Out.
Oh,
no.
I
was going to say,
time and towers.
The software having a bit of a moment there, but all that's gone on. Janowski's managed to get past Repetea, so his race is going from, well, bad to worse to absolute disaster, it feels, right now for the Italian. Just see Hufgaard. He's got Hupka just trying to nick that last place inside the top 10 off him. And he's just not far ahead of them is Vinagre.
Oh, there he goes.
Couldn't this be the move? He's trying to move left, move right, trying to distract the Porsche driver. He's unable to do it, just trying to move the car around. He's playing a game of chess, just trying to maneuver his opponent to get him in a position where he wants him. He moves out to the right, just trying to distract him, trying to make him think about something other than what's ahead of him, prevent him from seeing a breaking point or something. Just trying to see if that's one of the Porsches. I'm not too sure who that was. So just coming out of the pits there.
Good awareness, though.
37. That's Roy Palmas, that was Porsche. He's currently down in 25th place right now. But there we go. They're back to where they were at exactly the same point on the last lap. Around about 3 tenths for these top 2. As the Porsche, as the track starts to open up a bit more, gather its momentum and pull away from McBride's BMW once again.
I mean, you can sort of see the timing tower. I mean, it's a really good illustration of differences between these cars. You know, if we catch them coming into that section, you'll see McBride right on the back, Carnegie in first place. And then, you know, we get into this section and the Porsche manages to pull out a little bit of a gap, and then towards the back end of coming down into turn 1, it'll get down to 0.4 of a second. So this concertina effect and the different effect of the 2 different cars on iRacing, it's a perfect illustration between the 2 different cars. These drivers are probably well matched with each other, and it's very much down to the differences between the cars that are actually keeping them apart at the moment. As we see there, McBride's still about 0.5, and this is the time that we'll see McBride starting to close up. Coming into this next section on the back of Carnegie in first, but then we get past the chicane of turn 6 and 7, 8 and 9, and then that's where the Porsche comes into face. So perfect illustration of the differences between these cars on this track.
Well, they're on to their last lap now. Carriger has managed to pull away. Biggest gap that he's had for a while over McBride, and maybe McBride just knows that his time is run out.
I think so.
And this is, it now. It's now up to a second. You get the feeling that this is how it's going to finish. Bar a mistake from one of these 2 guys. This is how they will stay, as you see McBride just making another 10th back off the Porsche. But then he stands once again, and as we see, you can almost tell where they are on the track by how the gaps close up and extend, as I think Manilov has just got past Repetea. I don't know, they've swapped places back again immediately, so that's all over 14th place. You just see coming through the last couple of corners, 2 corners to go now for Carriger to make it 2 wins on the trot. He won last time out for Porsche at Suzuka. And he comes round the final turn. McBride knows he's beaten. Karajay takes the victory here in round 4 at the Hungaroring, with McBride coming home second for BMW. Maltrek's going to come home third. If it hadn't been for that pit stop, you get the feeling that he would have been a lot closer as Gandolfi takes 4th. Bingham is just going to hold on from Kahea there to take 5th. Yeah, 6th. Get clean in a nice little pocket by himself. He's 7th. Gudici, the flash of the lights across the line, takes the check flag in 8th, and Arbery 9th. Hofgaard 10th. Hooker Mill has to second for itself for 11th place in the end. Manners, a good drive from him. He's at 5 places to come home 12th. Janowski, who's a little bit further back. You can see him just in the background there coming across the line. Started from the pits, finished up 15 places. The highest gainer, the only driver up into 2 digits in terms of place gained. Closest driver to him is Gudici, Kindness and Robson, who are all up 8 places equally. There's Malov taking an alternative route there through the pits. You see Shartner come across the line. There's Kindness as well. He's going to come home in 17th for Audi. Second or 2 Audis as I see 1 or 2 drivers heading into the pits there. Robson, another one of them. Going to be after his absolutely epic battle that he had with Collishaw and Stuart Wyness. He's going to come home 19th and seems to be slipping further down the field as the weeks go on for Wyness right now, Andy.
Yeah, sure. I think the biggest winner there was Gandolfi. He had the perfect pit stop strategy, was behind Bingham and Kayela before the round of pit stops, but managing to jump the 2 of them in the pit stop window and coming out and managing to secure that 4th place there, you know, up. Just jump Bingham and Kayela. So, you know, great pit stop strategy for Gandolfi to manage to get that 4th place. But, you know, another excellent round, Tim, of some really tight racing. And the front 2 were showing into a sort of like a different class of their own, and great battle in there for sort of like straight after the pit stops all the way to the end. But Alan Carnegie, as you say, managing to hold on. So that's 2 race wins in a row for him. And he's only been in 2 rounds of the championship. So it could be a real contender for the title overall.
Well, while we just wait for the last few drivers to come across the line so we can bring it up with the Class 5 results. Let's speak to race winner for Porsche, it's Alan Carnegie. Congratulations, 2 wins from 2. How does that feel?
Yeah, pretty good. Because hello, firstly. So pretty good, yes. Was a nice battle.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was a really battle early on for the first half of the race up until the pit stops with Maltrek, and then McBride really sort of got the jump on both of you almost in the pits and really closed up the gap. But you seem to manage to keep him at bay for the remainder of the after your pit stops. Did you ever feel like you were under massive pressure from McBride at all?
Yeah, the problem after the pit stop was that I have like my fuel calculator always tell me like I have 8 liter that I need to refuel 8 liters. So I was like, that will be tiny at the end with the fuel. So I just like make after the pit stop just fuel save the whole time. So I just was looking that McBurdy didn't catch me, so I was slowing down everywhere he didn't can overtake me, and on the both overtaking spots I was like fast as I can go. So that was the plan.
Well, obviously, next time in a week's time we head back across to Japan as we head to Okayama. How are you feeling about that one? I think the question on everyone's lips is, can you make it 3 wins from 3?
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know. So maybe yes, maybe no. Like this was the same like Suzuka last week. I just tried setups like 50 minutes before. I think I must keep that routine, so that's good. So yeah.
It's clearly a good luck omen for yourself. And is there anyone you'd like to, say thanks to or give a shout out to at all?
Yeah, thanks to you commentators, it's always like when I watch back the race, it's good commentating, and to the whole Apex Racing League because it's good fun, and McBurdy and the other competitors because it's so close.
Brilliant. That's Alan Carrier who came home with the race victory here. Round 4 in the Hungaroring. Now, next driver up is for yourself, Andy. Going, incredibly well, and after a tough battle, he finished where he qualified. It's Tom Bingham for Porsche, who came home 5th today.
Well, welcome to the welcome to the commentary box here, Tom. And great qualifying. You're probably the best one you've had this season so far. And then you're having a really good battle there for the majority of the race with Manuel Kaela. And unfortunately, it looks like you got overtaken in the pit stop by Gandalfi, who managed to secure that 4th place. But I mean, how did the race go for you today?
Yeah, pretty good. Battling up front with the front runners was quite nice for the first little while. Matthew got a bit loose on the one exit, and I tagged him. So I don't know if I picked up some aero damage, maybe. I'm not too sure, but yeah, good save by him. I was actually just having a chat with Matthew. His mic is having issues. He said he'd like to have joined in the chat, but to let you guys know that he messed up his quali. That was his 2 cents he wanted to put in. But all in all, a good race. Can't complain with 5th. Pretty good.
Yeah, so obviously currently standing in 3rd in the championship. Unfortunately, you won't gain some more time because the people in front of you managed to get in front of you within this race. So sorry to put a downer on your race.
Right.
But you're still within your touching distance. Gaddafi, who's the one in front of you, only 1 position ahead, and McBride was only 2. So you're certainly cementing yourself at the top of the championship. Where are your expectations for where you'd like to be at the end of the season?
I'd like to have a podium, definitely. Whether that's 3rd, 2nd. I don't think I'll catch Matthew. He's very, very consistent. So fair play to him and really quick as well. But yeah, somewhere on the podium would be good for me. I'm just going to try and keep it consistent, not push too crazy, and hopefully let the championship sort of points come to me by taking it steady.
Yeah, so we got Okayama for the next round back to Japan. How are you feeling about that track?
I don't know it at all. So
apart from super trucks.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I know it then. Okay, so yeah, who knows?
Not them lines, though, mate. You don't want to be taking them lines, that's for sure.
No. But should be fun. Should be fun.
Yeah. So before we let you go, Tom, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, mate?
Obviously, just all the Performance Link guys. You and everybody at Apex. Anybody else that knows me. Matthew for putting in a stonking good race. Fair play to him. And my wife for putting up my sim racing.
And your dad, Simon Bingham, for actually watching you, an hour watching.
And my dad, yeah.
There you go.
Who can now walk, so that helps, yeah.
There we go. Bit of a bonus. Cheers, Tom.
Cheers, lads.
Good luck, mate.
See you guys, thanks.
Looks like we do have Matthew McBride, actually. So
we do. I've just pulled him. Just pulled him in for us, and congratulations, Matthew McBride, for BMW coming home 2nd place, up 2 places today. I mean, it was a real, tough race early on, but as soon as you got clear of the Porsches, you really seemed to catch up to the Porsches ahead of you. It was all Porsche so dominated here today.
Yeah, it was a tough race. Those Porsches, they are so quick out the corners. I think the BMW is probably one of the worst coming out the corners. So there were certain sectors I felt I was really quick, and then there were certain sectors I just couldn't close the gap. But I caught up Alan towards the end of the race. I sort of did a bit of tyre saving at the midpoint, and I had about 6 laps where I could really challenge Alan. But he defended well, and every time I got close, I just couldn't make a move. So it was a really good race, though. I enjoyed it.
I mean, the closest BMW to you was Janowski, who came home 13th. I mean, he had a storming race himself after starting from the pits. But, I mean, obviously, as we head to Okayama next week, do you feel a bit more confident going there? That it's maybe a bit more suited to the BMW?
I think all of the races in the calendar are pretty new to me. So this one's another new track. I think I did something in the MX-5 when it was the rookie class.
So going back a little bit of time now then.
Yeah. So, I don't know how I'm going to fare up on that track. Hopefully, it's quite a good track for the BMW.
Obviously, it's the third race out of 4 that you finished on the podium. I know it's a bit early to start talking about it, but in terms of championship aspirations, what are you aiming to achieve? What would you like to achieve?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to get sort of top 3. I think Alan, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but Alan's pace is really good. I felt like I could have had him today, but I messed up qualifying. So, yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I'm in the shout for a top 3. I know Tom's really quick as well, but we had a little bit of contact at the start, and I wasn't sure if maybe you got a bit of aero damage lap 1.
Yeah, you seem to really make the pit stops work for you as well. Where that's you seem to take a big chunk of time out of Alan ahead of you, and definitely out of Maltrek, who had an incredibly long stop, lost a lot of time in the traffic. Was it all purely just down to you had really good in laps and out laps as well that allowed you to close up so much?
Well, I just did quite a lot of fuel saving sort of midpoint in the race. 2 Porsches in front of me. They were both quick guys. I didn't think I was going to be able to get past with fighting with them, so I just kept the gap to about 1.5 seconds and just did some fuel saving, and it paid off because, like you say, after the pit stops, I think I was only a second behind Alan, and we had a little battle, but you still took it home.
No worries. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to at all?
No, I think I've run out of shouts now.
I was going to say, we've had you in, I think, pretty much every week nearly, haven't we? So I don't blame you on that one. That's Matthew McBride finished second for BMW here at the Hungaroring.
Cheers, thanks.
And Andy, I think maybe it's time we took you through the classified results here at the Hungaroring. So over to yourself for those.
Okay, so we got Alan Carnegie in first place, the winner of round number 4 here at the Hungaroring. Matthew McBride pushed him right to the end there in second place. Christian Malik, after having that extended pit stop, was running in second, managed to get in third. We got Alberto Gandolfi, who had an excellent pit stop strategy, managing to jump both Tom Bingham and Kayela behind him to take that 4th place. We have Tom in 5th place. In 6th place, Joanmel Kayela. Gitling, obviously, we saw him struggling at the start of the race behind and holding up a lot of the field, managing to secure that 7th place. Guidacini in 8th, Ingari in 9th, Hofgaard in 10th, Hutkamelli, the top of the Audis, in 11th, Ian Manners in 12th. Janowski obviously starting from the pit lane there, managing to get up to 13th, so a great recovery drive from him. Rafael, as we saw him absolutely drop off the cliff after his battle in there for the 8th place in P14. Frov Shatner in 15th, Adam Kiner standing 16th, Stuart Witness. After his first round high needs to find some form, is going to be dropping down the championship. Loskin in 18th, Malikov in 19th. Whitehouse, one of our fellow commentators there, in P20, so probably one of his best results for the season. Paul Robinson in 21st, Matea in 22nd, Pedraro in 23rd, 24th is Collishaw, Palmas in 25th, Hartley, Christensen, Hubler and Engel all basically out of the race and will not score any points. So that is your results for round number 4 of the ARL GT Trophy AM Series.
So, a big thank you to our sponsors for tonight. That's obviously Virtual Racing School, SDK Gaming, and the Apex Racing Academy. Now, if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening here, don't forget, of course, to give us a subscribe on YouTube. Twitter, we are at Apex Racing TV. Facebook is, of course, facebook.com/Apex Racing TV. And Instagram is Apex Racing TV. Now, after all the action and drama at Hungaroring, which is normally known for not having quieter races, we definitely didn't see that coming tonight. A bit later on this evening, we have got the ARL NASCAR B class. There's round 3 for them. They're at Charlotte, and then we have all got coming up in a couple of days' time. It's Radicals. It's round 9 at Road Atlanta for them. Before 4 days' time, on Saturday. Lose track what day of the week it is. We've got Formula Renault 2.0. That's round 8 at Long Beach. Well, that's definitely not going to be one to miss. Long Beach always brings the action. And then a little later that evening, we've got the Finding Speed GT3 League. There at Suzuka for that. And also, later the same evening, is Formula Renault 3.5, where they visit the Red Bull Ring. Wow, it's been an absolutely amazing race. Thanks very much for coming along and watching along, and your support and comments in the chat. From myself, Andy and Dennis, we'll see you in a week's time as we head back to Japan to Okayama.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.